Hi everybody, Alicia Markfort with Expressions by Lish, and today is Thursday, May 28th, 2026. Hi Peggy, how are you? Um, if you're here, I would love for you to leave a note, chat along with us today, and we are using all Aflutter Punch Bundle today for our class to go. Oh good, I'm glad you're fine, Peggy. Also, I will be streaming both today on YouTube and on Facebook. So if there's any problems, let me know. And I'm assuming you can see me and everything. So, hi Lori, how are you? So I'm just going to give it a minute or two, and because I do want to check and make sure I have the Facebook set up and ready to rock and roll. So it is a beautiful day today. It is definitely feels like summer, that's for sure. So just give me, like I said, let's take a couple seconds, and I want to bring up a browser here and look and see if I'm live on Facebook. So here we go. Okay. Hi everybody once again. If you're watching me on Facebook, please say hello. I'm also live on YouTube right now. So let's see. Okay. Peggy, yes it is. I have all my windows open. All right, yes, it is glorious. We had the windows open in the house last night. We had the air on, and then Paul last night said, maybe we should, turn the air off. And we did. Hi Debbie, how are you? And there was such a beautiful breeze last night and this morning. It was gorgeous. But now Paul shut the house up. I would keep it wide open, but whatever. All right, so if you are here, and please say hello. Oh, I'm glad you're good, Debbie. I'm hoping that everything's going well. If you're watching on, yeah, boohoo on him is right. If you're watching on Facebook, please say hello. Hopefully I can keep up with the chats. This is the first time that I am doing both together at the same time. So let's see how it goes today. All right, so I'm gonna move my camera to the tabletop. And today we are going to be talking and playing with All Aflutter. All Aflutter is a punch bundle, which I absolutely love. And yeah, so I want to move some stuff aside. If you have your catalog, All Aflutter is on page 52. And it is right here. It is a bundle. It shows the price for just the stamp set on this page. But if you go back, well, actually, if you go into the bundle section of the catalog, which starts on, because there's a suite selection and there's a bundle selection, and the bundle selection starts on page 36. Okay, and then as you can see at the bottom, they show the stamp set plus the die set, and then at the top is the order number, or the product number to order the bundle, and then it shows the price for the bundle. And so you can see all the bundles here, okay, and so on and so forth. And then on page 42 shows the bundle. So page 52 has just the stamp set, which you can order just the stamp set, or you can order the bundle, which comes with the punch, which I love. I love a punch. I mean, I love dies. Don't get me wrong. Dies are awesome, but I absolutely positively love the there, how about my face, a punch, because it just, I don't know, you can make things quick, easy. It's just everything is right in one little spot. I don't know. I love a good punch bundle, and this is a very good punch bundle, and it's a heck of a deal. So it's $41.25 for the complete bundle, and if you bought the stamp set, it was $30. And see here, I didn't even notice this. Stamp set's on page 52 and the punch is on page 61. So if you went to page 61, you would then see all of the punches. And right here, the punch is $26. So it's a deal to get them both together at the same time. Do you guys like to use punches? I like them. I don't know. They're pretty great. So, all right. So I'm going to put my catalog aside, and we're going to bring out, this is our card class to go. But before we start with that, I did want to show you a couple extra cards that I have made with this bundle. I thought you guys might be interested to see that. And like right here is just a nice clean, and it's just fluttering by to say hi. It uses the 3 butterflies. So there's that. Let's see. I like them, just don't have a lot of them. I love a punch, but not as much as since I started. Yeah, I love dies too. Like I said, there's just something to be said about a nice punch. Okay, so these next cards I made with the in colors, and I used that 3D Daisy embossing folder, and then I used all the same sentiment, you are so appreciated. This makes such a nice card set. Sorry you guys, if I thought I had my volume off on my devices and I don't, so if you just heard that ding, I apologize. I'm turning my sound off right now. All right. Okay, so we have the Barely Blush, Hydrangea Hue, Peaceful Pine, Golden Glow, and Crisp Cantaloupe. This by far, I would have to say, this is the first time I've ever loved every color in the when new in colors come out. So yeah, I just absolutely love these. So yeah, this makes a nice card set as a gift for somebody. You could also use the any sentiment you wanted, but I just thought this was really a nice way to showcase all the new ink colors. It has the DSP, it has the ribbon, the blends, and embellishments. And then the last 3 cards I would like to share is actually a set, and it's the second card we'll be making today is this one right here. Okay, but what I did was I made, you know, your basic card. So let's go like this, your basic card. And this I think is beautiful. This is like what you would consider like a beginner card. And isn't that pretty? It's just the stamps right on the paper. And then I use the stamp set, not blends, because there is a stamp in the stamp set for a color filler. So it's just such a beautiful, easy card. And then I stepped it up by adding other layers of DSP. As I did not matte anything, nor did I put dimensionals, only behind the sentiment and this matte. And this one I did use blends on. Okay, now this is the third one. This is like an advanced card, and this is the second card we'll be making. And I added mattes, basic white mattes to the DSP. I added a basic black matte to the white matte, and then I stamped and punched the butterflies, and I used Wink of Stella. And then for my embellishments, Here I used the basic rhinestones on the first and the second card, but on the third card I took those same basic rhinestones and I colored them with the Melon Mambo blends. I love doing that. And then I did add a ribbon. So just to show you the 3 different ways to make this card into, this is a step up card. So I thought you guys might want to enjoy seeing this. Okay. So let's look at the cards for the class to go today. So today we're making 4 cards. These are the 4 cards we'll be making today. One using crisp cantaloupe, and then the one I just showed, and then there's this one, and this one I'm going to show a masking technique that is nothing new, and then it has uses Timid Tiger. So this one is a masking technique with blending brushes. And then this last one is with Hydrangea Hue. And this card I cased from, I believe her name is Leanne Graff. And this is a fun fold card. I don't know the name of it. It's like a tuck and fold card, and it just opens like this. And then it closes by tucking it under the front focal point. I just thought that was a really pretty card. And it's just such a versatile card. You can do this with, you know, just about any color, any stamp set. I just thought it was really pretty. Okay, do you guys have any questions before we get down and dirty and deep into card making today? Okay. When you place an order in my online store for $50 or more through Sunday. Sunday would be the last day, so May 31st would be the last day to place your order in my online store. You will receive these 4 card kits as a thank you gift from me. So everything that I show in these kits, you will receive when you place an order with me. If it's not in here, it means it is with the bundle. So I don't include any stamps. That's a stamped images. That's a Stampin' Up! Rule. And anything that's punched also will not be. But if I use a die or a punch from a different set, then that will be included in your class to go. All right. So this one also, I think I forgot to mention when I was showing these, this also has an inking technique with embossing that I thought that was really fun. Okay, so in your card number 1, there will not be a half a sheet of basic white for a pre-stamping guideline this week, class to go. You will receive the individual pieces because it's easier with the punch. So you will receive a piece of crisp cantaloupe that will be cut and scored for you for your card base. You'll receive a piece of basic white for the inside of your card, a piece of crisp cantaloupe that will be cut for your mat and will also be embossed, and this is using the 3D, well, it's the Floral Spray 3D embossing folder. I'm not sure how good this shows up, but this is an absolutely gorgeous embossing folder. It's one of the big embossing folders. It looks like this, and it's a floral spray, and it has like the lilies of the valley, and it is just, yeah, it's really a stunning, I think, embossing folder. Let me see if I can't put that behind it. You can kind of see a little bit better. Yeah, it really is pretty. I just absolutely love this embossing folder. So that will be embossed for you. You'll receive another piece of crisp cantaloupe, and this will be to stamp and punch your butterflies. You'll receive this piece of crisp cantaloupe that will be die cut for you using the Stylish Shapes dies, and this will be for your sentiment, and a piece of baker's twine, the black baker's twine. Okay, let's put the card here so you guys can see it. All right. So first things first is I am going to fold and burnish my card base. I'm going to set that aside. Then the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to take the panel that's already embossed for you, okay? And you'll need your Stampin' Up! Brayer tool or any other brayer tool you have. You could, instead of using the brayer tool, you could do it other ways, but I really liked, this just was very easy to do. So I'm going to take my white ink, and this is a pigment ink, and I've already, this is recently has been re-inked. You want to make sure with this craft ink before you use it that you use the, your refill and re-ink up your pad, because it's kind of a stickier ink. So, all right. So the first thing I'm going to do is let's grab some scrap paper, and let me grab something a little different, because here, I want it clean because I don't want to pick up any color from my scrap paper when I'm doing this. And then when you're using your brayer tool, it has these two pokey things on each side. That is so that you can rest it on your desktop, and that way it doesn't like sit if it's got ink on it. Have you guys ever used this before? Yeah, I really like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run my brayer in my ink pad and make sure that it's good and inked up. Okay, then I'm just going to take it, I'm going to turn it over, and I am just going to run this across the embossed piece. And the ink will go on the raised, you've used it before, Peggy, you haven't. This is really, really cool. So it will leave behind on the embossed part white ink. And look at, isn't that kind of neat how it leaves the imprint of the flowers and stuff on the brayer. And if you want it, you can just keep going over it. And I'm just inking this up real good. And I'm going to go over it again. And I'm not pushing hard. It's kind of like painting. And as you can see, the more you apply, the brighter the white will be. And what I like about this is I've done where you drag the ink pad across, and that works great. So if you don't have the brayer tool, you can do that. But this way, it really truly, if you don't push too hard, does only go over the embossed piece of it. Now, if you wanted to, you can flip it over and do the deboss side. And I'm just going to show you guys what it would look like, because I thought this was kind of neat too. So when you roll it over the other side, like this, it goes into the places, so the things that show up. I thought this was really neat. So you see really the debossing. So here's the debossed side. I think that's really pretty. And then this is the emboss side. And I just really like the look of that. And you could do color on color, whichever you'd like. I just really liked how this looked with white. It kind of gave it a nice soft kind of look, I think, with the butterflies. So, and look at this. I think that's so neat. Look at the imprint on the brayer from doing that other side. I don't know, just thought it was cool. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside and we'll clean that up later. I'm going to put my white ink away. So this is just another way to add another layer of dimension or texture to your card. Yes, we added texture by using the embossing folder, but this just adds another dimension to that. Which one do you guys like better? Do you like the deboss side or the emboss side? Oh, thanks, Lori. Okay, so we're just going to place this. I put seal on this, and I'm just going to put this on my card front, making sure close that I have the even margins all the way around. Okay, now I'm going to take my piece of crisp cantaloupe, and we are going to use this detail. Well, the detail, I consider this the detail stamp, because the other ones are fillers. Like this fills color, and this does a solid color. This does just the like black or color without filling anything in. So we're going to use that, and we're going to use, I'm going to use Tuxedo Black. Stampin' Up! Does carry a new hybrid ink. I have chosen to stay with using the Tuxedo Memento Black, and so just use whichever black you're comfortable using. Okay, so I'm going to ink this up, and I'm going to put this towards the bottom of my cardstock. Okay, and then I'm going to do this, since I have my ink out. Oops, I had ink on my fingers. Dang it. I am going to take my sentiment, fluttering by to say hi, and I'm going to ink that up. And I am going to put this on my Stylish Shapes banner die cut. Okay, so we have that. I have a couple fingerprints on there, but that's okay. I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to close this up. And hopefully, you like both sides, Debbie? Peggy, you like the deboss side. Yeah, it's really unique. I really like it. Okay, so we're going to take our punch, and now this is pretty easy to line up. I just suggest that you use and see, I did it wrong. Okay. Let's start, I'm going to do that again. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm glad I made this mistake. And then after I said it's so easy to do, right? Okay, I'm going to punch and make a template. Okay, now if I wanted to, I could just right now try to stamp on those, but I'm not going to. I'm going to clean my stamp off and show you. Oh, this is a good way, and I should have done this, and I didn't even think to do it before I loaded my stamps on my blocks. But what I'm going to do is, this is a great way to put the placement of your stamp so that it lines up with your punch. And I just totally forgot. Okay, so I have punched this and put it over the top of my other piece of crisp cantaloupe. And then I'm going to lay these in there. And you'll know they're in the place because when you go to move it, they're stuck in there because they're in the template. And then I'm going to pick this up with my block. Okay, I'm going to remove that. And then I'm going to, I'm going to ink this up again. Okay. And now this should, fingers crossed, line up in your punch. It should. Okay. And if you wanted to, you could put this right back on here and stamp through that. I'm going to attempt not to. Okay. Now I'm going to close this because I seem to get really inky fingers lately. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to insert this And see how much better, see how this one, I didn't have the stamp on my block exactly right, and see how that doesn't line up? Well, when I did that template, now it lines up so that I can punch this out. Okay. Yes, I do have to still kind of maneuver it a little bit, but at least this way you can line them up and see how this is now lined up in the punch. So that's a tip that I would do if this, you know, I would stamp or punch first, put your template over. You can use any scrap paper, it doesn't matter. And then that way you can line your stamps up with your stamped image and your punch. And then we're going to punch those out just like that. And then I'm going to probably save these later. I usually keep these like in my stamp set in the envelope, and then I have the extra. Okay, now I'm going to take my sentiment, and I know I want it right about here. So I'm going to make a phobo, so I'm going to take some seal and put that here. And I'm going to take my black baker's twine and make a phobo. Okay. Oh, thanks, Peggy. I never have luck trying the stamp punch method. Well, okay. Like the way I just did it, or the first way when I didn't have everything lined up? Lori. Okay, so let's see. That's a little, well, maybe it's a little too high. Maybe I'm going to move this down just a little bit. So I'm just going to move that. That's what's nice about doing this phobo, because you can replace it if you don't like where it is. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of squish this down like this. That way I can put my sentiment just a little bit lower. I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to put dimensionals. I have my cut-ups here. And I'm going to not put any in the middle so that the bow has space. Okay. And I'm just going to go like that. Then I'm going to take my butterflies and I'm going to flip those over. And I'm going to use minis on this because I just want one mini in the center of each butterfly, because that way I can manipulate the wings. Okay, so I'm going to peel these off. And I'm going to start with this big guy. And I'm just going to take the wings and I'm just going to bend them like this. And then I'm going to stick this down and I'm going to put this one right on the edge of the sentiment. Then I'm going to take the other one, I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to bend those wings. And I'm going to put one here. I'm just making a triangle just like you make with your embellishments. That's the easiest way I feel for placement. And then one right here, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bend those wings. Now I'm going to grab my snips, my scissor snips, and I'm going to trim off my tails of my ribbon, my bow. And now I am going to, for embellishments, I am going to use the shimmering dots. And I'm going to use the white ones. They're so pretty. I just love these. Okay. So, I am going to place a big one here. Then I'm going to take a little one here. And a little one, let's see, let's make our triangle. Just like that. So what do you guys think? There's card number 1. I really like this crisp cantaloupe. I can't remember what punch I struggled with trying that. I have to think about it. Yes, using the guide. Okay. Huh, I wonder which punch that was. It must have been maybe the bumblebee or the ladybug maybe. Yeah. So there's card number 1. And then card number 2 is the card that I showed with the step up. And you could do this that way if you'd like. If you'd rather have, you know, less layers, you most certainly can do it the other way I showed. Okay. And this one, in your kit, you will receive a piece of thick basic white that is cut and scored, a piece of Melon Mambo. This is the Painted Patterns DSP. Yeah, Lori, I'm wondering if it wasn't the B. I bet you it was the B. Okay, and then this is in the Painted Patterns, the Bright family. And then you'll have a piece of the Melon Mambo. It's from the same DSP, the polka dots. Then this is from the Artisan Sketched Garden DSP. It's a black and white designer series paper that I am in love with. Oh my gosh, you guys, I could make every card with this paper. And we're going to use the polka dot side on this one. And then you'll receive a piece of Lemon Lime Twist, and this I cut with the 3 banner punch. So you will receive this cut like that. And you'll have your basic black mat, and you'll have your basic white mats that behind each layer, and then 2 of the same size. This is 2 3/4 by 4. I feel this is a great size for the punch, because you still can have it as a handle to go inside the punch, and I really like that. And then the other one is a mat for the polka dot DSP and the piece of black baker's twine. Okay, I am going to fold and burnish my card base. Just like that. And then I'm going to flip it over. The thick, you know, this is a thick cardstock, and I just want it to be, you know, somewhat flat, and it's not cooperative. Well, that's better. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to take my DSP. I'm going to add some seal. You could use liquid glue. That I'm assuming I'm going to be using liquid glue real soon. And I'm going to place this on my card front with even margins all the way around. Then I'm going to take my other mats and put them with the coordinating DSP. I'm going to flip this over, and you can use whatever side you would like. I like the smaller polka dots with the stripe on this one. And I'm just, like I said, putting these with even margins. And I'm going to do the same thing with this black and white DSP. This black and white DSP, you guys, oh, there's some sheets in it that have vases of flowers that you can fussy cut out that, oh my gosh, and to color, they are, if you love to color, this is great paper for that. Okay, so then we have that. Okay, I'm going to set these, well, you know what, we could put these on. I'm going to use dimensionals for this. And like I said, I just use your entire dimensional sheet, you guys. Get all your money's worth out of these, because they're still dimensionals. They're just not the, you know, the octagon ones. You just have to cut them up. Or use them in full strips, whichever you prefer. Okay. And I may have to, on the right hand side of the black and white one, I am going to double stack. Let's see, like that, and like that. Okay. peel these off. And the first one, oh, I gotta peel these off too. Come on now. So what is everybody up to today? Anybody been doing anything fun? Let's see. I'm going to place this on the left-hand side, and I would say from, it's probably about a 1/2 inch from the card base. And then I'm going to take the black and white DSP mat, and I am going to go flush up like over the DSP, but I'm not going to go over the white. I'm going to go right up to that piece of designer series paper, and I'd say that's about a 1/4 inch from the bottom. And I did not peel the rest of these off. I only peeled the double stackers off. I'm like, why is this moving around on me, you guys? All right, go like that. Okay, then I'm gonna take my piece of this mat, this white, basic white panel, goes on the basic black, and it goes this direction. So I am going to stamp some little, what would you call these? The trails lines that like a butterfly would make, I guess, with black. And I am going to ink this up. This can go whichever direction you would like it to go. And I am going to kind of guesstimate about where I want it to be. There's one there. And then I'm going to turn this or not. I'm going to go like this for this one. Not completely in the corner, but pretty close to the corner. Just, I am going to turn it. I want it to look different. Okay, just like that. Probably want to put some scrap paper down because I already made a mess. Okay, so now I'm going to take my, because I've already lined up my stamp on my block, you can just ink this up and put this not all the way to the bottom, but pretty close to the bottom of your piece of basic white. And then we'll take your punch, and you know what, I think before I punch them, let's color them in, because this I use the blends for. Okay, just excuse me 1 minute, I'm just gonna grab Kleenex. My nose, for some reason, started to run. Hasn't run all day today. Okay, so we're gonna use Melon Mambo blends to coordinate with the Melon Mambo Designer Series paper. And whichever way you would like to color this, I am basically using these as markers. I'm not really blending with these. I'm just using dark in some places and light in the others. And you do not have to be completely, you know, try to stay in the lines. Like I just went out on that one, but I'm just coloring the way I think that this butterfly should look. But like I said, you don't have to be neat about it because you have your other blends you're going to use to go over it. But I'm just, you know, I'm using them like markers, not really truthfully like blends. Really. Let's see, I think that's good. And then I'm just going to take my light and I'm just going to go over everything. Just coloring it. Just like that. So I guess it is kind of like blending them because I am going over it, but it's not true blending. So it doesn't take really any time at all, but if coloring is not your thing, there is a stamp that coordinates with this that you can use and ink it up in the Mill & Mambo ink or whatever color you're using, and then just stamp over it. Okay, now I'm going to put this in just like this. And we're going to punch that out, and they're lined up. And there we have our, I was going to say bumblebees. Oh gosh, you guys. Our butterflies. Okay, I'm going to turn those over. And again, I'm going to use minis, and I'm just going to put one in the center. Just like that. Okay. Oh, you know what? I should have stamped my sentiment while I had my ink out, but that's all right. Okay, so now I'm going to start with the big guy, and again, I'm going to bend the wings a little bit. And I'm going to put him where I stamped that trail of dotted, well, they're not like dotted lines. Then I'm going to take the little one, goes on the bottom. I'm just going to bend that up a little bit. And we're going to kind of go like that. And we're going to take this guy and we're going to put him like that. Then I am going to turn it over and put seal on it. Well, maybe I should use liquid glue because I've got those dimensionals on there. So today is my Uncle Doug's birthday, and that would be Peggy's husband that is watching along with us. I texted him earlier today, wished him a happy birthday. He said he was heading to Hinckley, so hopefully, Uncle Doug, you're having some luck. And happy birthday to you. Okay, so I'm just going to put this on my basic black mat. Just like that. And then I'm going to put this on here. But I'm only going to put dimensionals. Let's see. How should I do that? I'm just going to put dimensionals at the top and glue at the bottom. My top still, yeah. Say, Peggy, if you're still on here, did Doug get his birthday card? I know I tried to get it in the mail on time, but you know how that goes. And I'm going to take and I'm going to put a little liquid glue on the bottom here, just like that. And I am going to put this to the right with a little, probably 1/8 of an inch at the bottom. Okay. You could double stack this one if you wanted, but I'm not going to. Stick that down. Then I'm going to take my sentiment. Let's see, Mom is here. Hi, Mom. I think I'm a little bit late, ladies, but my rhubarb crunch is in the oven. The kitchen's a mess. Sadie's cleaning the floor for me, though. Sadie is my brother's dog. And rhubarb crunch, I made that over the weekend. It was so good. Okay. I'm glad you got your rhubarb crunch in the oven, Mom. All right, so now we're going to take Friend. I'm going to ink that up, and I want my banner end, my flag end on the left. And I'm just going to stamp this right in the center. Thanks, Mom. And I want this to go right about here. But I want to put that faux bow underneath that. So I'm going to take some seal and run that across. Then I'm going to take my baker's twine and I'm going to make my faux bow. Just like that. Okay. And let's see. Then I am going to double stack some mini dimensionals on this end because it is quite a few layers there. You could probably even triple stack it, but I think double is okay. Let's take a peek. Yeah, double's fine. And then I'm just going to put some glue on the end of this. And we're going to put that right over the top of the full bow. Just like that. Well, maybe a little bit down yet. Okay. Then I'm going to trim these off. And then I am going to show you, and you probably have done this already, but I am going to color my basic rhinestone gems with my blends to get the color that I would like. Oh, Lori, that rhubarb crunch recipe is divine. It is so good because it has a bottom crust and the crumble on the top. Oh, it's so good. Okay, so I know that I want a big and two littles. So I'm going to take my dark Melon Mambo and I'm just going to color that. Then I'm going to take, let's see, a littles. I think there might be 3 sizes here. So I'm just going to do 3 sizes and I'm going to take my, just like that. And now we have coordinating embellishments. That's a great way to add, like if you were missing a color, or let's say you wanted a red and you don't have any red embellishments, then you can use your blend markers. Okay, so I want a big one over here. Now they're probably still a little bit wet, so I'm just gently placing them like that. Then I'm going to take the little one. Let's see if I can go with my putty. I'm going to go the little one up here. Then I'm going to take this middle size and go right like that. Okay, you guys, there's card number 2. What do you think? I really like this one. I like the green with the pink and the black. I just really like that look. Okay, card number 3 is a masking technique card. It's pretty simple. I'm sure you guys have done this before. You can use masking paper that's Stampin' Up! Sells, and I would have used it, but of course I went to use it and I'm completely out of masking paper. Either that, well, thanks Debbie, thanks Peggy, of course I was out, or I just can't find it because I would have used it. But we're going to use Post-it note tape. If you guys have masking paper, I highly suggest using that because you can cut the size that you would like to use and it's easier. But I will show you, if you don't have the masking paper, how to do it with Post-it note tape. Or you could cut like a rectangle, like a double, like use a double rectangle so you get a frame, that cuts out, and then you can just tape over the cardstock over the top. That's another way to do it. Okay, so this one's pretty basic. You'll receive a Timid Tiger card base that's cut and scored for you, 2 pieces of basic white, one for the inside of your card, one for the card front, and a piece of basic white to punch a butterfly, because we're going to stamp right on the card and we're going to pop one up on there. You'll receive this piece of basic black. This is for your sentiment. We will be using Versamark and white embossing powder with this for the sentiment, and another piece of this black baker's twine. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to, and I'm going to use my glass mat, and I'm going to put this right, well, maybe I should use scrap paper. Yeah, I better use scrap paper. All right. Except for I don't think I used scrap paper. No, I'm going to go right on my glass mat, you guys. Okay. It's just easier to get the measurement. Now, if you have masking paper, cut your strips the length of your card mat, which this is 5 1/4 by 4. So cut your masking paper 3/8 of an inch, which is a quarter plus 2 lines on your trimmer, and then you can make your rectangle easier. What I did was I lined my mat up on my glass mat, my cardstock on my glass mat, and I'm putting that there, and then I am eyeing up, let's see how I did this. I want this to be 3/8 of an inch. So I'm just looking on my mat. Okay, there's a quarter. So right about here, I'm using these lines to line that up. So I followed, just want to keep it straight as I can. Let's see. I'll make sure I'm on the 5. And then I'm using this dotted line to line that up. And then I'm just attaching that right to my glass mat. And I'm going to do the same thing all the way around. I like to do the sides first. Lori, you want this bundle now? Yeah, I really like it. There are so many. Like, I showed the other cards that I had. And then, yeah, okay, right here. Line this up. I really like it. I love the sentiments. I like the stamps. I love that they have the filler stamps. And they have this other butterfly stamp that's this little tiny butterflies in a row. That's so pretty to stamp on the inside of the card with that little dotted trail. It's just, I love this stamp set, you guys. But I love butterflies, so it didn't take much to sell me on this. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing down here. Just lining this up. And it doesn't have to be like exact, like I got pretty darn close on this. If that would bother you, then by all means measure. Oh, look at that, my last piece of Post-it tape. And I'm just measuring up with my other side here. Okay. Now, the next thing you're going to need is you're going to need Timid Tiger ink, Daffodil Delight, and Lemon Lime Twist. And you'll need your blending brushes. Okay, I'm just gonna, that's just a little bit crooked, I think. Okay, so let me grab my brushes here. And I don't have a brush for every color, but I do have, I have more than 3. I have 3, 6, 9, 12. I have about 18 brushes, but then I use them, I try to keep them in like with the colors, because I do have the smaller brushes too. When you buy a bundle, how many cards can you make? Well, the bundle, Mom, is the stamp set and the punch. So this is the stamps and this is the punch that you would use. So you could make as many cards as you have paper for. Yeah, that's what the bundle means. It is a bundle. That means that you buy the stamp set and the bundle together. You get a deal when you buy them both instead of buying just the stamp set and just the punch. So then you can make as many as your heart desires. Okay, excuse me, I just had to take a drink. So, Timid Tiger, Daffodil Delight, and Lemon Lime Twist. Okay, first thing that I'm going to start with, I know this is unusual because normally you start with your lighter color, but I am going to start with my darkest color. Okay, Mom. I wasn't sure if I explained that right. So I'm going to use my Timid Tiger. I'm going to get this brush and I'm going to ink this up, okay? because I want my Timid Tiger in the middle and I want a certain amount, that's why I'm starting with this. By all means, you can start with your Daffodil Delight and then go down, but for some reason, I really wanted to start with my Timid Tiger on this one. So we're just going to take that. The more pressure you use, the darker your color will be. And I'm just kind of getting my base down. And now I'm going to start to go darker. And I'm just staying in that space. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more ink to my brush. And by going off, you get rid of a little bit of that ink that you just inked up, so you don't get a big blob, like just this huge dark spot. Okay, and I'm just going, and I think that's about the amount of Timid Tiger. Now you can go back and add more. You can just not take it off. Okay, so now I'm going to go my Daffodil Delight. And I'm going to do the same thing. But I'm going to go over that orange and go up. Because then you're going to get that blend of that orange and yellow together. Kind of like when you're making like a sunset background and what have you. So just go like that. Okay, now I'm going to take my Lemon Lime Twist and do the same thing. Okay, and I'm going to go at the bottom, but I am also going to go over that Timid Tiger with it. I guess I was not too worried that I'm getting too much Timid Tiger in my green. That's why I'm okay with starting with the darker. Because I'm not going completely over, I'm just going over it a little bit. No rules. Make them up as you go, right? Just a guideline, that's what they are. Okay. And then I like to kind of on the sides go a little bit darker. You get that nice crisp edge when you take the tape off. Okay. Let's close these up so I don't make an absolute disaster area out of my space. Right, no rules. Exactly. No rules. Okay, so now we're going to just peel this off. And look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Oh. And I did pretty darn good with my just using the Post-it note tape and my glass mat. I think that looks pretty awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to take my butterflies and I'm going to stamp directly on where we just did our blending. Okay, I'm going to ink that up and I am going to go up at the top like this. Kind of like that. Okay, so we have the first three. And I'm going to take the next set. I'm going to do it again. Okay. Then I am going to take this, and this one is going to go right down here at the bottom. I did turn it just a little bit more than the other one. Okay. Now I'm going to take the same, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to do on my basic white piece of cardstock so that I can punch one. And you will have 2 extra, but that's okay because you can use them on another card. Okay, and then I'm going to use the biggest butterfly for my pop-up on this card. Peggy. Debbie, whenever I blend, I always think of you because I know how much you truly enjoy it. And Debbie is so good at blending, you guys. Oh my gosh, her blending is gorgeous. Because you know how I follow the rules and instructions. Yeah, I am not a good rule like for instructions. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm just going to use the colors that I used in my blending. So I'm going to use Timid Tiger, Daffodil Delight, and Lemon Lime Twist. Okay, and I am going to color my butterfly. And I'm just coloring the middle butterfly. And again, I'm not really using these as true blends. I'm just using them as markers. Okay, you guys like to color? I love to color. It's like one of my favorite things. It's like so relaxing. So now I'm going to take the light, and now I really want it to be light. So I'm going to use the bullet tip instead of the brush tip. And I'm going to just fill in where I want just a little bit of light there. And I really like Timid Tiger. It's one of those colors that, you know, I've always liked, but I never really used it that often because I was such a big Strawberry Slush Secret Sea girl that, ugh. Okay, so now I'm going to take the dark Daffodil Delight. I'm going to add in, oh, well, it doesn't have to be exactly the same as my other one. Okay, so there's dark. Then I'm going to take my light like I did on my last one. I'm going to use the bullet tip and put some light, because then that gives you a very light Daffodil Delight. Okay. Then I'm going to take my Lemon Lime Twist, and I'm only going to use the light, but I'm going to use the brush tip. And I'm going to go right like that. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I just really love that. Pretty butterfly. Okay. Let's see. Let's put these away. Rules, instructions are loose guidelines. Exactly. Yep, exactly. Excuse me. My nose is running. Okay, so now I'm going to punch this out. Just like that. Line them up. Punch those out. Save the other two for another project or ditch them. I am going to put dimensionals on the back of this one, but I'm going to cover up the wings with minis because I want to cover him up completely. I'm not going to fold the wings up on this one. And I really like how you could just pop up one out of the other ones. I really like that. It's like the spotlight technique in a way. Yeah, Lori, I like your thinking. That's funny, Peggy. And I'm just going to put that right over the top. Okay, I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to add some seal, or not. Yep, I think I still got seal, you guys. Okay, and we're going to add this to our card base that I have not yet folded and burnished, but we will do that now. Okay. All right. I'm going to place that right in the center of our card front. And then we need to do some heat embossing, and I did not do it ahead of time because I always feel like I do everything ahead and then you guys can't see everything. So I'm just going to take the embossing buddy and put this over so that there's less static. Okay, then I'm going to take my Versamark, and I am using You Are So Appreciated. I love this sentiment. I'm going to ink that up in my Versamark ink. You want to make sure that your ink pad is good and juicy. And then I just line this up right on my glass mat. And then that way I can see that I'm stamping straight-ish. Okay, so we just stamp that down in Versamark. Okay, then I'm going to grab my embossing powder, which my tray is an absolute mess right now. Okay, and I am going to, oh hi Anne, you're not getting any audio? Aw, I know I am on YouTube as well, and audio's working on that. It's possible I didn't set something right up on Facebook because this is the first time I've gone live on Facebook. So it could be on my end as well. All right. So thank you for joining, by the way. How's your weather there in North Carolina? Okay, so I'm just putting my powder, and I have my reverse tweezers, and I'm tapping that off, making sure that I don't have any place I don't want it to be. And then, because I don't know why I do this, but I always do it twice. Like I said, I kind of have a mess here. Okay. You know, it's so funny. I just talked to Anne and told her, because she's on Facebook, and told her, but she says she has no audio, so I'm sure she couldn't understand what I said anyway. Oh God, you guys, I'm such an idiot. All right, so I'm just got a little bit of dots here. I'm just taking my brush and getting some of them off. I'm not real fussy. If I get a couple extra little dots on my embossing, I'm completely fine with that. Okay, I'm going to pull my drawer out here and grab my heat tool. So now nobody's probably going to be able to hear me right now, right? Oh, Lori, yeah. Okay, so I'm just making sure this was heated up. And now I'm just going to emboss this. I love the white on the black. Okay, there you have that. And now I am going to add my faux bow. So I know that I want this right about here. Okay, so I'm going to take my seal and I'm going to put my seal right there. Lots of black faux bows on these cards. I didn't even realize how many I had. The last card doesn't use black, it uses hydrangea hue, but I don't know, I just really felt like I needed the black with these butterflies. Okay, so there's our faux bow. I'm going to flip this over, and since I have my minis out, I'm just going to use them. And I'm just keeping them towards the outside. I'm not putting any in the middle to go over that faux bow. Oh, thanks, Lori. Thank you for chatting over on Facebook. And tell her I'm sorry about the audio. Okay. All right. So now we are going to line this up, and I want it to stick over the edges of my embossing. Then I'm going to trim this up just like that. And then on this card, I'm going to add some of those in color butterflies. And I told Anne to join us on YouTube. Yeah, I saw that, Lori. Thank you so much. Yeah, like I said, I'm sure I probably was supposed to do something with my microphone on my, I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm working everything out. But hey, I can't believe that I'm live on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. It wouldn't be, I mean, it's, if everything worked perfectly, it wouldn't be me, right? Something has to be fixed at least once or twice. Okay, so on this, I am going to add the clear, they're kind of white, they're not really clear, butterflies. And I am going to use a big and two littles. And I really like the white kind of butterflies with the white embossing powder. I just thought that was so pretty. So there's card number 3, you guys. And yes, as always, I am over time. All right. There's card number 3. What do you guys think? I really like that blending on this. I think it's so sharp. Okay, so last but not least is our fun fold card, you guys. This is a super easy fun fold. And again, this could be made in any color. I think it would be just beautiful in any colors. YouTube is so much easier. Yeah, it is, Lori. Thanks, Peggy. Okay, so in your last kit, you will receive a piece of basic white. Now this will be cut and, oh thanks Debbie, this will be cut and scored for you for our fun fold. So that's why it looks just a little bit different. Thanks Lori. You'll receive that. That is this thick basic white. You'll receive a panel of hydrangea hue and another panel for your mat. And then you'll receive a piece of basic white that will be embossed with the Fern and Flora, or the 3D Fern embossing folder that will go on your hydrangea hue. Then you'll have this strip from the Painted Patterns again. This is the In Color family. You'll receive a strip of that, and you'll receive a piece of hydrangea hue ribbon. No basic black on this card, you guys. All right, this is very easy to do. So the first thing that you are going to do is, this is how it goes, okay? So here is my card base. You can see, did I do, oh no, I have it right. This lines up like this, okay? Because there's a little bit of white underneath this blue right here. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to fold and burnish our sides. I'm not even sure what this is called. I love butterflies, but these butterflies cards are outstanding. Oh, thanks, Mom. Yes, this hydrangea hue is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And I didn't even think of that. No, Anne, that's okay. You didn't know I was live on both. So like I said, I'm experimenting. And yeah. Okay, so I have done this part. So that's what this looks like. See this, imagine that this piece wasn't on here. Okay. Then you're going to take your piece of hydrangea hue. Okay. I'm going to tuck this under here so you can see. Okay. And I'm trying to remember how I did this. It's been so long, you guys, since I've done this. I'm thinking I just centered it like this and like that. And then I put this in the middle. You guys, it's been like months since I made this. Okay, so yeah, I believe you just put it right in the center like this. Then I'm going to take my seal. Okay. And I am going to add on my, directly on my hydrangea hue, I'm going to add seal, or maybe not, right on the very end and not get it on the white. Okay? And I'm just going to fold that over. And I'm just taking the glue that I went a little bit over, pushing that back. You just want to make sure that it's even at the top and the bottom. Okay. Then we have this. Okay, so I'm going to take my piece of DSP. You could use either side. They're both stripes. They're just different. Wider and narrower. Okay. Then I'm going to take and I'm going to line this up. And this goes, it's same length, so top and bottom, and then even margins on each side. Okay, so that's your fun fold so far. That's what it looks like closed. Okay, then I'm going to take my embossed panel that I embossed with the fern. It's from the Fern and Flora Midnight Fern and Flora suite. So pretty. I'm going to add some seal to that, and I'm using a light hand because, like I've said before, with an embossed panel, that will rip easier because of the embossing changes the fibers of the cardstock. And then I'm just deciding how I want it, you know, to look. I kind of like it like that. Okay, and now this is what's going to hold our card shut, because this is going to tuck under this. Okay, so what I did was, you can see that. I didn't glue it all of the way. I left about this much without glue. Okay, so I'm just going to flip that over. And I'm just going to put my hand here to remind me that I don't want glue all the way. Because, you know, the memory. Excuse my phone ringing. Paul should hopefully get that. Okay. Now I'm going to take this and I'm just eyeballing that. Just like that. Okay. So there, see how it just tucked right under there? Just like that. Whew, made it. Hi, Anne. I do not know what I did wrong with the microphone on Facebook. Like I said, I was just so excited. I was able to go live on both. I didn't even test my microphone. And it was so funny, Anne, because I was talking to you like you could hear me on Facebook. And I thought, well, come on, you guys. Alicia, she can't hear what I'm saying. She just said there's no audio. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. How is the weather in North Carolina? That's okay. All right, so we have our fun fold. This is the fun fold. Okay? And like I said, it just tucks right underneath that. Okay? So now I'm going to, I want to clean my butterflies off because I'm going to stamp my butterflies in hydrangea hue. Yeah, I know. Sometimes I amaze myself. Okay, I'm going to make sure this is good and clean. And then we're going to use our hydrangea hue ink pad. Okay, mid-80s today, sunny, watching the Hummers out my door. Well, hello, Melissa. How are you? How awesome, Anne. Let's see. It is in the 80s here today as well. It's been like in the 80s, like almost 90 here. So glad you're joining us, Melissa. Okay, so now that I've cleaned my stamp off, I'm going to ink this up in my hydrangea hue. Okay, make sure that that's, and now this is pretty juicy, so I'm just going to see what that's going to look like. Oh, that looks okay. All right, I'm going to ink up again. This is the piece of cardstock that's going to be in your kit for punching. So I like all the last 3 cards, I'm not going all the way to the bottom, but pretty close. And I'm just stamping those on there. Oh, that blue is so stunning. Ugh. Stunning, stunning. Okay, so now I am going to punch these out. And as I said before, because I left my stamps on the block from when I very first showed that technique so that your stamps, your stamped image lines up in your punch, they'll line up. Okay. Now we are going to take our butterflies and I'm going to bend the wings on this one. And we're just going to put a dimensional in the center of each of the butterflies. Okay. All right. That, and we have that. And now you can put them whichever order you'd like. I just try to keep them in a triangle. It kind of goes along with your embellishments. And I'm going to put one here. That's like the bigger butterfly. Then I'm going to take this middle guy. I'm just going to bend up their wings and we're going to go like this. And then we're going to take our little guy, peel the backing off, and do the same thing. I'm just going to bend him up like that and we're going to push him right about here. Okay, in your kit, which I'm missing it, but it will be in yours. We're going to take a piece of basic white. I forgot to put one in mine. and we're going to stamp our sentiment, thinking of you today, and we're going to stamp that right in our hydrangea hue. Okay? Thinking of you today. Another beautiful sentiment. Okay, and when I'm using these new ink pads, I just like to walk my stamp across. Okay. And I am going to not go all the way to the end, but pretty close. And this is a 1/2 inch strip of basic white. And I'm just going to stamp that right on there, just like that. And then let's put this away. And then I love angle cut sentiments, you guys. Absolutely love them. I am not good at it. So my philosophy lately has been that I have to try stuff that I'm either not good at or that I haven't tried. I have to step outside of my box, right? Okay, so I'm going to angle cut this end, just like that. And then I'm going to take, let's see, I could either use this as my guideline, which I might. We'll see how that works. I'm going to take that end that I just cut off, and I'm going to use that as my guideline. Just like that. I'm going to cut right along the edge of that. Okay, so there we have, and I did it wrong. See, I always do it wrong. Okay, so I want it to go the other direction, so I'm just going to take it. You guys don't listen to me. I want it to go the opposite way. There. Okay. So now we have our thinking of you today. You do not need to angle cut that if you don't want to, but maybe you're way better at it than I am. Before I adhere that down, I'm going to take a piece of hydrangea hue ribbon, and I'm just going to tie a knot. No bow on this one, just a knot. If I can get my big fat finger out of there. Okay, I'm just going to tie that in a knot. And let's see, I want my ends to go this way. So I'm going to take a glue dot, and I'm going to put that right on there. Now try not to touch your glue dot, because it will adhere better if you don't touch it with your fingers, which I'm notorious of doing. Okay, and I want this right underneath my thinking of you, and I'm just going to set that right there. Okay, so you can see where this is then on the paper. It's going to go like that. I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to put dimensionals. Now obviously I'm not going to put one right at the very end, and you don't want any adhesive to go over the edge of your mat, otherwise you won't be able to open your card. Okay, and then I'm going to peel these off. Excuse me. Okay, and I'm just going to line that up, and I know I need to stop because the knot and the dimensional are fighting each other, so I know that I'm in the right spot. Okay. Then I'm going to trim the edges off of this tail and this tail. And I'm cutting at an angle. Okay. I like that look. Oops, I'm going to trim this again because it kind of shredded a little bit. My scissors must need to be cleaned. And then we're going to embellish with our hydrangea hue butterflies. So I am going to, sorry you guys, I put the card off of the way. I'm going to put a big one up here, and I'm going to do a little one right here, and then I'm going to put another big one, but I'm going to go over on this end right here. And there is card number 4. This is your fun fold. And now you can decorate the inside however you would think that you would want to. So what do you guys think? I like that. It's so pretty. I love that color so much. So let's bring in our other cards that we made today. If I can find them, because you know me, I just kind of start throwing stuff around. So these are the 4 cards that we made today. Oh, there's an envelope. And number 1. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I appreciate it, and I'm so glad that you found us, Anne. Sorry about the the audio on Facebook, but I'm getting there, you guys. I'm getting there. I want to flip over my camera. I'm looking for my mouse so that I can be off of my desktop. Thanks, Lori. Thanks, Debbie. Thanks, Peggy. Oh, thanks, Melissa. I'm so glad that you were able to join in. Next time. Exactly, Anne. That's my thing now. It's next time. Okay, you guys, so this is all a Flutter Class to Go. These are the 4 cards that you will make and that you will receive the kits for when you place an order in my online store for $50 or more. And you will receive these card kits from me as a thank you from me. If you like and share my video, that really helps me out. I do appreciate that, either on YouTube or on Facebook. And as always, you guys, thank you so much for joining me on a Thursday afternoon. I truly enjoy spending this time with you, chatting and crafting. It's the highlight of my week, you guys. Honest, truly. I know I say that every week, but it really is truly the highlight of my week. All right, you guys, have a great rest of your day. Have a wonderful weekend. Melissa, have a fantastic trip. And we'll talk to you all real soon, okay? Bye.